to the system will be showing on YouTube. So let me see, I'll go to, have a few more minutes, so hopefully we'll figure that out.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to run to the restroom. So
okay, sure. Okay. Yep, sounds good.
I'm just going to put the phone down.
Okay. Okay, sure. Yep. All right, those of you who are watching it online, surprisingly, we have a problem, again, technical problem with Google On Air, even though it did move to a different system, and it seems like it's the same software with the same functionality. For some reason, it's creating two different webinar rooms, and so we are now connected with the speaker in one room, and I have no idea why it's a different room from the one that I can control, from the one that I can stream. So what you see now is the room where it's only me. And what you don't see, and it's a different screen and a different computer here, is the room where there is me and there is a presenter, and then there is even a student. And it seems like, if you can see me, if you follow the steps that I outlined, if you click on that long link and join the webinar, you will be able to participate live. You will be able to see us and hear us. The only problem is that for some reason it's not streaming through YouTube. And my biggest worry is that it may not also be recording the session. So I'm going to try a couple more times to see if I can do something about it, but this is a little strange. And evidently the transfer from Google On Air to YouTube Live was not as seamless as it should have been. So if you're watching online on YouTube, hang on, we will get that worked out. I'm just trying to see what needs to be done to make it work. So let's see what I can do.
I'm shutting my door because I'm going to call. I'm back.
This is very strange. So it seems like there are a bunch of people trying to watch the event through the stream that I'm doing from my other computer, but it's a different stream from the one where we are. I'm almost thinking maybe we can do it this way. I can literally, so this is what people see. And so maybe I'll do it this way. So I'll literally stream the stream through my camera. And so while we are there,
Log off and try to log back on again?
no, we tried it a couple of times. It's probably not going to work, but what we're going to do, if you see me, so here's what I'm trying to do. I'm showing from one of my computers, I'm showing my other computer. And so people see you.
I have no sound, boss, no sound.
No sound, let me see.
I can't hear you.
Just a second, let me check my settings. Let me check my, hold on a second. So just 1 second. Yeah, I think I know what needs to be done. Okay, I do this. Just 1 second. I'm working on the sound. Can you hear me now?
No, I have no sound.
No. Okay.
Nothing.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Nothing.
Let me try. Just a second. How about now? Can you hear me now? Okay. So what I'll do, I'll call you again. Let me try. Just a second. All right, you can hear me on the phone, right?
I lost you for a
No, I thought that everything was working. So we will do a very strange arrangement here. So in the last 1 minute or so. So what we're going to do is the sound. So those of you who are watching, this is what's happening now. The sound, let me just make sure that that's what people see. Okay. So the sound is going through the phone, and I'm speaking to the speaker via the phone. Now, the speaker is on computer 1, but you don't see him there. But the streaming is going through computer 2, and you see that computer through my web camera, literally. And so this way, we will use one device for the sound, another one for the video, and the third one for streaming. And hopefully it will work that way. Is that an acceptable solution? It seems like it's streaming it right. So, and this is the strangest arrangement, but there seems to be no other way to do it. So let's stick with this option.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. So, but let me do the introduction. It is 10 a.m. On the East Coast in the United States. And I see that we have a number of viewers on YouTube. Plus, the meeting is being recorded. So those of you who miss it will be able to watch it later on.
I'm showing it's 9:57. I think you're a little bit fast.
Oh, I'm a little bit. Oh, it is 9:57. So the clock on the computer is a little different. All right. So, well, the stream is 1 minute late anyway. So we are very close to the starting minute. So by the time people see it on YouTube, it will be another minute. So they deliberately build in the delay so that in case something goes wrong, people can still, correct it. So, but let me do first the introduction and then explain what we will be doing today, as well as a few words about the company. And then we will proceed with the speaker, Michael Tyler, the owner and the manager and the CEO of the company, who will talk a little bit about the company and the industry. And then we have one of the teams, team number 21, that volunteered to do a little, I don't want to call it a presentation, a little summary of what they've done or what decisions they have done so far. And the idea is that they will spend a few minutes and then talk about what they have. And then Michael Tyler will provide some perhaps reaction to what they have, maybe some feedback. And then given that this team is probably not that different from the other teams, the feedback they will receive will hopefully benefit not only them, but also will give some indication to the other teams as to, what direction to move. And so before we start talking about the company itself, let me talk a little bit about the company's kind of presence or participation in X-Culture. Just so you know, it's a little unusual, not exactly how we do it all the time. So the company VSA, Voyage Study Abroad, was added to the X-Culture competition literally last minute. So it was right at the time when the early track has started, and we didn't plan to add any more companies. But as you know, we are trying to select a number of companies, each representing a different industry. And we have a number of companies on the waiting list still, and so we selected a few, and we had enough. But this one struck me as a very unique company in the sense that it has a product that first is different from anything we've had before, which makes it a perfect candidate for the competition. So it's a very new industry. But also, and this is very important, hopefully and obviously, I guess, it's a product that students have a direct connection to. For example, we have a bunch of companies, including some in the competition and some on the waiting list, that have a very unique, very different, very technical product that most students are just not familiar with. Like, for example, some sort of auto parts. Or we had once a company last semester that makes pregnancy tests for cows. And so those are interesting products, but I suspect most students have no idea how that industry works, what it is, whom to approach about that product. So it's a very irrelevant, I guess, to this audience. And so that makes it a little difficult to come up with a good decision, a good recommendation. Now, VSA, students are the main clients, basically. So this is a company that is created for students, serves students. Many students probably have used similar companies and maybe even VSA. And so the hope here is that you are the type of the audience that can directly relate to the product. You are the customers, your friends are the customers, your teachers are the customers. And so it will be very easy for you to understand what it is, to maybe even talk to your friends, talk to your, colleagues, teachers, and maybe find out more. So this makes it very interesting for you, hopefully. And then obviously we are hoping that that will lead to better ideas for the company. So we decided to add VSA literally last minute. I was very worried about, too few teams choosing the company, because by that time, most of you had made the decision. But I was very happy to see that a number of teams actually switched from one client to another. And so we still have about a dozen more teams, I guess 18 teams working on this challenge in the early track. And then obviously the late track hasn't started yet, but I'm hoping to see many more teams working on this challenge. And so what we're going to do here now is talk a little bit about the company. And I think I'm going to stop here. We do have a lot of questions that came via email, and I wrote them down. And so what we're going to do is start with a kind of semi-formal presentation first. Maybe spend, I don't know, 10 minutes on it, maybe 15 minutes on it. And then I'll just go question by question from the email account that I already received, and I'll try to group them in a logical sequence, first a little bit maybe about the industry, then about the company. Then we have Team 21, and I see a number of members of that team already online. We'll give them a few minutes to talk about what they have. Then Michael will give them feedback, and then again, if we have some more time, maybe we'll do some more questions and answers. So Michael, now on to you, and I guess it would be best if you maybe first said just a few words about the industry itself, how it works, and then maybe a few words about the company, and then we'll just go on with the questions and turn it more into an interview rather than a presentation.
Okay, perfect. So my name is Mike Tyler, and I'm a professor. I've been an accounting professor for over 25 years. And I actually was running summer study abroad programs as the program director of two larger study abroad companies for about 10 years before starting the VOYAGER study abroad program 2 years ago. And the idea behind VOYAGER study abroad is that it's going to be, and it is, the most comprehensive study abroad program. It's the most complete study abroad program. We include activities every single day, most days multiple activities. We include cultural activities and professional activities. And we travel to numerous cities, and all those cities have something to do with a particular class or classes. So in the industry, let me give you a quick background. Most programs are single city or single country programs that do have 1 or 2 day trips during the program. There is a couple of travel programs that do travel, similar to what we do at VOYAGER Study Abroad, but very rarely do they include a significant number of activities. They normally include, during the program, maybe 5 activities. So I'm going to give you a quick example because I think it'll make it a little bit clearer. We have a class called New Europe, and in that class, we go to the United Nations, we go to the Office of Economic Cooperation and Development, we go to the German Parliament, and at each of those places we have seminars. In our art class, we go to over half of the top 10 museums in the world, plus other significant museums in the world. We go to Florence, we go to Paris, we go to Madrid. So that helps me. I have another professor that's done study abroad also for close to 10 years. And I don't know, Voss, if it's okay, I can tell you quickly.
Sure, yes, yeah.
Okay. So what the industry does is almost every university has their own study abroad programs by their professors, and they normally charge probably between $4,000 and $5,000, and they generally stay either in dormitories or second-tier hotels, and some of them even stay in hostels. They do have some outside activities, but relatively few outside activities. The independent programs, and I'm an independent program, some of them also go to one country. Some of them are very large companies with multiple programs that go to different countries, but not different countries during the same trip. And then I actually had 2 companies that were very close to my company, and those were the 2 companies that I had worked for and managed programs for, and one of them recently went out of business. So now there's just one. And that company charges about 50% more than I do and offers much less than I do. We stay, and this coming summer, we're solving a problem we had last summer and the summer before. We stayed in 4- and 5-star hotels. We always travel by high-speed train and plane. Most companies travel by bus or coach. But the problem is, if you're doing as many activities as our program is doing, if you travel by bus or coach, you spend most of your time in the bus or coach, and there's not enough time to do all the stuff we do. So starting next year in Madrid, next summer, in Madrid, we're going to stay for the entire 30 days in a residence that's a brand new first-class residence that was just finished this month. It has a swimming pool. They serve breakfast and dinner every day. And then all travel outside of Madrid, star hotels. We're still traveling by high-speed train and plane. And as of right now, I mean, I saw the comments on the last thing about pricing and the comparisons, but right now the program is priced below the break-even point. And the idea is to try to get enough students to do the program to make it viable, and then at some point begin to increase the price. And I don't know if you want me to go into it, but the real difficult thing is that most universities they might concede that our program is better and we know how to do it better, and we have better contacts in the cities and countries we go to, and we can provide the students a better experience, but they still prefer to keep the students in their own university program. So we advertise a lot with study abroad referral sites, which is actually now very recently starting to pay off a little bit for us. And it's also becoming a thing of word of mouth, because the first year we did it, this is the third, the first year we only had 3 students and 2 of them came back.
So can I ask you a few questions right here, because we have a bunch of questions about the financial side of the business. But first, one question that several people asked. So you don't represent a particular university, right? So you are an independent company. So you don't represent a particular university, right? So you are an independent company. Right, but so then let's see. So how does it work then in terms of the industry? So some universities have an on-campus department that organizes those trips, right? And some universities choose to go with private companies like yours. Mm-hmm. And then, right, and then so most of the students who participate in these programs, are they required to do so by their universities, or they just think, oh, it's going to help my future career, for example, or expand my horizons, so I decide, or I would like to do it, and then they approach you directly? So do most of those who participate in your programs, do they go through the university first and then to you, or do they just go online, look for companies like yours, find you, and then go on the trip? All right, so I'm just going to test here just to take a little break, as we're getting some emails from the people who say that not everything seems to be, so just to make sure that they have the sound and everything. So, all right, so I'm just, yes, everything seems to be working, so I'll go back to, at least on my other computer, the stream seems to be going well. And yeah, let me just, well, we have to, yeah. So let's move on. So there is one question from a student called Sarah from the United States, and she's asking, what are your operating costs? So when you organize a trip, what are your expenses, basically? What are your operating costs? So when you organize a trip, what are your expenses?
Anyway.
Then another question. Yeah, makes sense. So basically, once they pay for the trip, that includes all the expenses along the road, and so you will basically just take care of all the tickets, all the hotels, and everything. Yeah. Okay. So it's a one. Now, there were three questions, same question about the price, and I'm not sure how much we can say, but what normally determines the price of this service in general in the industry, and how do you set your price? Do you just decide, these are my operating costs and I'm going to add 20% to make it, profitable? Or so how do you set the price in general? To make it. Well, right. Right. Yeah. I have I have lots of questions, but I also see we have half a dozen students right here in the webinar room. Do you guys want to maybe ask some questions? And if you do, just switch on your microphone and chime in anytime you want if you have any questions, either in general or maybe specific to what has been said in the last few minutes. So I'm going to move on down my list here, but then again, those of you who are here, and I see, as I said, about Devin, Eduardo, Emily, Michael, Robin. So if you guys want to ask any questions, just go ahead and, as I said, turn on your microphone and ask. But anyway, one thing that I would like to clarify then. So we have a bunch of different programs or companies that offer similar services. Some are more expensive, some are less expensive. The big difference in price is due to the fact or due to the content of the program. So those are that are cheaper usually would go to one city, one country, perhaps do maybe a little exploration of one city, and that's it. Those that are more expensive, like yours, for example, you go to multiple countries within one trip, and then you go to multiple places on that trip. You go, as you said, to the parliament, you go to all kinds of museums. Did I understand that correctly, or are there any other differences? Okay. Now again, Devin, Eduarda, Emily, Gustavo, Michael, Robin, Sarah, if you guys want to ask any questions, as I said, you can switch on your microphone and ask them. Or on your side, on your left, you should see this chat room window. So you can expand it and you can just type your questions in there and I can read them out for you. But so two people are asking, do you ever organize any trips to local companies, local businesses? And a related question, does your program involve any interaction with the locals, or the students always move in an all-American team and just basically participate in it as an American group? So do you visit, I don't know, I assume they probably mean like people's homes, or maybe do you have some sort of events with the locals so that they can experience that culture more closer, I guess? Ah, here is a question from Robin, who is right here in the chat room, and he is asking, Dr. Tyler, what is your target market currently? So what is your market that I assume you would like to expand into right now? Robin, that's a girl, I'm sorry. So just to clarify. So some people do it multiple times? didn't realize that some people did multiple times. Now, there are a few questions here, again, about your competition. And this is technically a question that the student should be answering. But since everybody is asking, so whom do you consider to be your direct competitors? And then there is one tricky question. If you had to point out your strengths and weaknesses, or perhaps strengths of your competition, what they do that you cannot do, what would you answer? What would be your answer to that? Mm-hmm. Right. 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 Yeah. Lots of questions about your advertisement strategy. Currently, Robin again is asking, have you thought about advertising through Facebook using the sponsored ads? And then a number of related questions. So how do you advertise? And wow. Right. Right. Right, right, yeah. Now, let me clarify a few things. And Robin, again, is kind of right on the target. So she's asking about students who have taken your program. How did they hear about you? But I'd like to clarify it a little bit going by the questions that I'm receiving here. So question number one, when you are advertising, who is your target audience? Are those students parents, or educators or administrators at universities? So what is the exact group of people that you're trying to reach? Students, so that's individual 20-something-year-old students, right? And then another question would be, okay, and then so before we get into what exactly we need to say to them, but now the decision-making process, again, going to Robin's question, how did they hear about you? So how does it normally work? So students are the people who need to make the decision whether or not they want to go on the trip, right? So how does it work? They just sit, I don't know, home and then decide all of a sudden to go on a study abroad tour, or they just find out that it's one of the requirements of their program and then they go online and search? Like, what's the process? How do they find out about companies like yours? And how does this thing happen from the moment they realize they need to go on a study abroad tour, and then all the way to the point where they actually hire a company and pay the money for the tour? What's the, like, well, Robin asks, of the students who went on your trip, how did they hear about you? And I'm trying to expand it into more, yeah, I'm trying to get into more kind of how exactly it happens step by step. So. Mhm. So would it then make maybe sense also to try to advertise directly to the study abroad offices on campus? My understanding is that there would be an advantage of them working with you because you're the professional in this area and you can probably deliver a better experience than what they can do internally. So would it be possible? Yeah. Huh. So that answers Gustavo's questions. Gustavo just asked if you considered partnering with the local colleges. And so obviously you have considered that, but it doesn't seem to be working very well. Mhm. Now, we are almost running out of time. I still have several very important questions, but I see we have several members of Team 21 here. Would you guys like to go online now and then maybe try to do a little summary of what you've thought so far, what you've found so far, and then maybe get some feedback from Michael, and we'll see how that goes. This, by the way, will be the first time that we allow students to kind of do a presentation, and I'm not sure if it's going to work in terms of the sound, but hopefully it would. So I can't remember which ones of you are on that team, because I see more people. Okay, Robin is one of them. Robin, do you want to switch on your microphone and then try to do the presentation, and then let's see how it goes, and then maybe Michael will give you some feedback. All right?
I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hear you, Robin. So I wonder, Michael, you can't hear Robin?
No, but I can actually see Robin, though. Hi, Robin.
Let me try to do it that way then. I'm not sure if it's going to work. Robin, so if you want to talk, I switched on my speakers on loud, so hopefully it will transfer it through my phone into Michael's ears. And so I and everybody else can hear you. I think Michael's settings probably with audio are a little off, so I guess it just doesn't play. But if you try to talk, let's see if Michael will hear you. Say something.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead then,
Okay.
Robin.
All right. I don't know. You guys can't see what I can see, right?
There should be a button somewhere, share screens, but I don't see it on my computer, the one in the room that we are using with you. I see it only in the computer that is streaming the video. So I'm not sure if it would be easy. Like, it almost seems like that function is removed for guests for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Right.
So maybe let's just talk and without the slides, I guess. Let's go low tech. Oop, your sound now disappeared. Robin?
Yes.
Robin, something happened with the sound, so we can't hear you for some reason all of a sudden. Could it be the settings? Oh, okay, you're back. Okay, good.
Okay. All right. So basically what I've come up with, or what my team has come up with, is a theory about, how to...
Robin, sorry, Michael Friel just told if you click on the three dots in the upper right corner of your screen, you will have there an option called share screen, and it will show us, instead of your face, it will show what you see on your computer. So you go to those three dots in the very upper right corner, and then click on share screens. That will probably do the presentation. Okay, now we almost see. So it's gone black. Okay, now I see me instead of, okay, perfect. All right, go ahead. We hear you, we see your slides.
And I do too.
Okay. So basically what I'm thinking about is like the target market. My theory is that, maybe instead of having such a large market, as far as like direct emails and stuff, maybe condensing it in a smaller area. I identified the Northeast United States, Florida, and California. I actually found an article. See if I can pull it up here. Can you guys see this?
Yep.
Okay. These are some of the colleges in the United States that have the highest international concentration. The top one is actually my university that I go to, Florida Institute of Technology. But I looked at kind of the areas that they were from: Melbourne, New York, Massachusetts, California, Pennsylvania, etc. And these all have the highest concentration of international students. So I thought maybe, I know from my university, they focus a lot on like cultural and international studying abroad and stuff. We do have our own program, but I thought maybe if you instead of marketing the whole United States, maybe marketing portions of it, that would kind of help consolidate your resources, maybe spend less money advertising. I don't know. I just kind of wanted your opinion on, you know, my thought process. Does that make sense?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
I would only add that from the list of the universities that you showed, it looks like about 2/3 of them actually participated in X-Culture at some point. Many participating actually this semester.
Have they really?
Yes, San Francisco, FIT, so the ones that I noticed right away. So
Yeah, I go to FIT.
yeah, you are at FIT, right? Texas A&M by that matter too. So they have been always in X-Culture like for 3 years now. So many of them are actually in our system, and so we have a sizable group of students from each of them in X-Culture.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe from that point, you know, I could figure out how, because I've never heard of VSA, so maybe I could figure out how, as a student, I could help market it to where it wasn't necessarily through the university administration, but rather something through the students. And then maybe put something into place at my university that we could translate to the universities in the regions that I'm talking about. Does that make sense?
Robin, that's a terrific idea. And
Okay.
and some of the ways you could do that is school newspapers and flyers and things like that.
Yeah, maybe even old-fashioned ads on bulletin boards around campus. I don't know. Why not?
Right. And maybe I could start like a hashtag or something like that, maybe even a QR code or something that could lead them to you guys. I mean, this is an assignment, but I think it would be awesome to help a small business succeed.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, and we need all the help we can get.
All right.
So yeah, that's just kind of what I have. You know, we have the typical like SWOT analysis and stuff, but I just wanted to, you know, kind of figure out, which you've answered a lot of the questions that I've had already.
Right.
These were some of the questions that and you've answered a lot of them. You know, what is your mission statement and what is your vision for the company? I didn't really see that on your website, but you did kind of explain it here.
Yeah, and also the website you see is just a temporary.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
It's being redone behind the scenes.
Okay.
Can I also ask a few questions, and maybe Robin can stay here in case you want to clarify something. I have one question related to the country. So we are talking about expanding the business internationally, and so the unique thing about VSA is that you kind of have two markets in a sense. On the one hand, you have the market that you serve, so where your customers come from. On the other hand, you have the market that you go to, and so basically your location where the trip is occurring. And so that part seems to be more or less worked out. So you normally take students to the country, to European countries. But then in terms of where your customers come from, as I understand it, this time the recruitment primarily happens in the United States, and those are the students at American colleges. But would you be open to the idea of taking students, for example, from Africa, maybe from Asia, from Latin America, who would like to join you on the trip, let's say, for example, to Europe? I imagine many of those students may have the same requirement to go abroad. Many of them may have the money to do it, and Europe seems like a good destination. So in terms of your target market, as far as where your customers come from, would you be interested, willing, ready to go into and recruit participants from countries outside the United States?
Absolutely. And I do recruit from outside the United States. I had 3 people from St. George's. I had somebody from the Philippines. I had somebody from Ireland, which was weird.
Well, Europe is big and Ireland is kind of, you know, on the outskirts there.
But also in the programs I've run before, they've gotten a significant number of students from the Middle East. So I recruit from anywhere.
And another question related, again, a couple of students asked that, would you consider doing trips within the United States? So for people from outside the United States who would come to the United States, and you will take them to major cities, perhaps, I don't know, like Silicon Valley, like Chicago, New York, Miami, whatever other places, you know, Boston area. So would that be a viable model for your business? Because I'm sure there are many people, for example, in Europe who would like to experience America or Canada, maybe.
Okay, I'm going to give you a long answer to a short question. So you see, I'm an old man. I'm 60 years old. And I plan on retiring in 2 years and running this program in Europe in the spring, in the fall, and the summer. Right now, I'm only running in the summer because I'm a professor and I have.
And that actually brings me to one and the last question from me, unless there will be more from the students, but this one is probably the most important one. So in the challenge that you presented for the Sculpture competition, we have what we call the ultimate test of the viability of the business proposal. And so basically students are allowed, encouraged to perhaps go out there and not only do the research, but perhaps see if they can recruit some, like basically to see if there is a demand for the strategy, for the product that they're trying to offer you at their location. So literally they can see if they can maybe recruit some of the students from the program, or if they can convince maybe the study abroad office of their campus, if they would be willing and interested to work with you. And so there are a number of questions related to that. One, the most kind of general one is, so if I wanted to basically make some money out of it, so like what steps should I take in order to bring business to you and then get some sort of an aftermarket commission or travel stipend or whatever else is promised? And then a related question, surprisingly, is if I wanted to become your partner, so not just a one-time, kind of sales agent, but a partner, would you consider hiring me, for example, to do, like there is actually a question coming right now, to do the trip within the United States? You said you're planning to retire. Would you consider partnering up with us or some other students or some maybe local companies, and then doing more kind of higher level management functions, while others people on the ground will basically work for you and will do all that everyday kind of legwork? So how would that potentially work? What would you be interested in and not interested in? And then things that you are interested in, how exactly students can go about them to deliver value to your company. Yeah. Right. Right. So going back to the one-time simple thing. So let's imagine I'm a student here in North Carolina. I read the challenge descriptions. I understand that if I bring new business, I'll get a little aftermarket commission. So what exactly would I need to do? Just step out of my office and talk to everyone and see if I can recruit some participants, or there is something else that I can do? Got it. Well, we are pretty much almost out of time, so the plan was to stay within 45 minutes to 1 hour. Any one of you guys here in the room, Devin, Eduardo, Emily, Gustavo, Michael, Robin, any other questions you would like to ask before we stop broadcast? All right, so then I think we're going to wrap up here. Any concluding remarks, Michael? Anything that you perhaps would like to ask? I mean, to add that we didn't ask. Right. Well, it's been fun. So I personally, even though I'm in academia and I'm supposed to know a lot about this industry, honestly, I didn't know. And so now I know a little bit more. So plus, it's very educational to hear about the challenges, the pains of growing a business. And so it looks only so nice and perfect in movies. You know, a guy has an idea. Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But it's been very educational, even for me, and I suppose for the students. You know, that's something they probably can relate to. But I don't think many of them had much information about this sort of business. So thank you so much. So actually, that's a question I have for you, Michael. Can they email you? So I don't mind sharing the email address. The challenge here is we've done it in the past. And so especially once the late track starts, once you have a few hundred students working on your challenge, you may literally be overwhelmed with the emails. But it would be, oh, okay, because that would be my strong preference that they go directly to you, because first, it's going to be faster. Second, I don't want to be in the middle and potentially, you know, kind of distort the message. So if that's okay with you, I can literally share the email address with the students who are working on this challenge. As I said, just be careful, because you may end up with emails every day. So that may be okay. Well, perfect. I wish all the CEOs of our partner companies were like that, because most of them say, no, buffer us as much as possible, because we don't have the time to deal with that. So I'm glad to hear that. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining us here. I hope the recording worked, so I will have to check it once we disconnect. So we had the strange setup this time, technical, with 3 devices, but it seems to have worked. Thank you very much, and we'll be in touch hopefully in about a month once the late track starts. Thank you so much. So I'm going to disconnect here. So stop broadcast.